Picture this. You saved up for years. You did your research. You bought what everyone said was one of the best 4x4 SUVs on the market. And then 6 months later, you're sitting in a mechanic's waiting room, staring at a repair bill that makes your stomach drop. Sound familiar? Because right now across Australia, thousands of people are going through exactly that. They bought popular, well-reviewed, highly recommended 4R4 SUVs, and they are seriously regretting it. Not because these vehicles are bad on paper, but because of hidden flaws, real-world problems, and issues that the brochures never talk about. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on 4 of the most popular 4x4 SUVs that Aussies are regretting buying in 2026. And trust me, if you're planning to buy one of these, or you already own one, you need to watch every single second of this video before you make your next move. Welcome to the Drive Intel, the channel where we give you the real story behind the vehicles you love, fear, and sometimes deeply regret. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now and tap the like button because today's video is packed with information that could genuinely save you thousands of dollars. We are not here to trash these vehicles for the fun of it. We are here to give you the honest, unfiltered truth that dealerships and manufacturers don't want you to hear. So let's get into it. Let's start with a vehicle that has been absolutely everywhere in Australia over the past few years, the Ford Bronco. Now, before the Bronco fans come at us in the comments, just hear us out, because the problems we are about to discuss are real, documented, and shared by thousands of owners globally and right here in Australia. The Ford Bronco came back with massive hype. It looked incredible, it had retro vibes, great off-road capability on paper, and Ford's marketing team did an absolutely outstanding job of making it feel like a legend reborn. Aussies went crazy for it. Waitlists were long. People were paying above sticker price just to get their hands on one. And then reality started setting in. The first major issue that Bronco owners are talking about in 2026 is the soft top. The original soft top design was plagued with problems from leaking in heavy rain to rattling noise on highways. Now, Australia is not exactly a gentle climate. If you're doing the tracks up in Queensland during wet season, or even just dealing with Sydney's unpredictable storms, a leaking roof is not a minor inconvenience. It's a serious problem. Many owners reported water getting into the cabin, soaking seats, and causing electrical issues because water and complex electronics do not mix well. Ford did release some updates and revised versions, but early buyers were left dealing with warranty claims, replacement tops, and in some cases, ongoing issues even after repairs. Then there's the top tube issue. This became infamous. The removable roof panel tubes on certain Bronco variants were cracking and in some cases breaking, which created a safety concern. Ford issued a recall, but the process of getting vehicles in, getting parts, and getting everything sorted took months for many Australian owners. Dealership wait times for service, especially in regional areas, added another layer of frustration. And here's the thing that really stings. When you spend between $70,000 to over $100,000 Australian dollars on a vehicle, you expect better than that. The Bronco is genuinely capable off-road, we won't deny that. But the build quality issues, the soft top drama, the electrical gremlins that some owners have reported, and the long service wait times have left a significant number of Australian buyers feeling like they were sold a lifestyle dream that came with a very expensive catch. Now, let's talk about vehicle number 2, and this one might surprise a few people. The Jeep Wrangler. Yes, the Wrangler. The icon. The legend. The vehicle that has been the gold standard of off-road culture for decades. Here at the Drive Intel, we have deep respect for what the Wrangler represents. But the 2024 and 2025 models that many Aussies are driving right now are generating some serious complaints. And those complaints are worth your attention. The biggest issue that keeps coming up with Wrangler owners in Australia is fuel consumption that is genuinely shocking even by four-wheel drive standards. The four-cylinder turbocharged engine, which was supposed to be the more efficient option, is delivering real-world fuel economy that many owners describe as painful. In city driving and mixed conditions, some Wrangler owners are reporting consumption figures that rival much larger, more powerful vehicles. For a country as big as Australia, where long drives are part of life, that's not just annoying, it becomes genuinely expensive over time. When you're filling up more often than you expected, and each fill costs you a significant chunk of cash, the regret starts building fast. Then there's the reliability data. The Wrangler, despite its iconic status, has consistently ranked poorly in reliability surveys. Electrical system issues, problems with the infotainment system freezing or crashing, transmission hesitation, and in some cases, issues with the e-torque mild hybrid system have all been flagged by Australian owners. The dealership experience in Australia for Jeep has also been a point of frustration. Parts availability for some components can be slow, and service costs tend to be on the higher end. Add in the fact that the Wrangler's on-road driving experience is genuinely uncomfortable for daily use. The steering is vague, road noise is significant, and the ride can feel quite harsh on normal roads. and you start to understand why buyers who wanted a dual-purpose vehicle are feeling disappointed. If you bought a Wrangler purely for hardcore off-roading and you knew exactly what you were getting into, you might be happy. But a large number of Australian buyers purchased the Wrangler as a lifestyle vehicle, something for weekends and the school run during the week, and that's where the mismatch between expectation and reality becomes really painful. And the resale value, which was once a strong selling point for the Wrangler, has softened noticeably in the Australian market, which means owners looking to cut their losses and sell are finding it harder than they expected. All right, vehicle number 3. And this one is going to get some reactions. The LandCruiser 300 series. Now stay with us here, because we know that in Australia, the LandCruiser is practically a sacred object. It's been the king of the four-wheel drive world in this country for so long that criticizing it almost feels like criticizing a national treasure. But the 300 series, despite its incredible reputation, has not been perfect. And in 2026, there are LandCruiser owners who are questioning their decision, especially when they look at the price tag. The LandCruiser 300 series comes in at a price point that is simply extraordinary. Top variants push well past 150,000 Australian dollars. That is serious money. And for that money, buyers expect flawless execution. But the early production 300 series vehicles had some issues that caught owners off guard. One of the more talked about problems was related to the twin turbocharged V6 diesel engine. While the engine itself is generally strong, some owners experienced issues with the emissions system, specifically the diesel particulate filter causing problems, particularly for buyers who were doing a lot of short, low-speed urban driving rather than extended highway or off-road use. This is actually a common issue with modern diesel SUVs, but given the price of the LandCruiser and the expectations that come with it, it hit harder. There were also reports of software and electronics gremlins in earlier builds. The infotainment system, while much improved over the previous generation, had bugs that required dealer updates. Owners of early production vehicles described multiple trips back to the dealership to sort out software issues, which, when you've spent that much money on a car, feels completely unacceptable. The supply situation also caused a unique problem. Because demand far outstripped supply for the 300 series, many buyers paid significant dealer markups above the recommended retail price. Some Australians paid $10,000, $15,000, or even more above list price just to get their hands on one. And when those early software and mechanical issues showed up, the sting of having overpaid made everything feel much worse. To be completely fair, the LandCruiser 300 series is still one of the most capable and durable large four-wheel drives you can buy. Toyota's long-term reliability record is hard to argue with. But if you paid a premium, expected perfection from day one, and then found yourself dealing with software bugs and DPF warnings, the first year of ownership was not always the experience people imagined when they signed the papers. And now we get to vehicle number 4, the one that might generate the most discussion in the comments, the Isuzu MU-X. Wait, hear us out, because this is actually a really interesting story, and it's a perfect example of how a vehicle can have one specific weakness that undermines everything else that's good about it. The MU-X built a brilliant reputation in Australia as a tough, reliable, no-nonsense family SUV with genuine off-road ability. And in many ways, that reputation is earned. The MU-X is genuinely solid. But in 2025 and into 2026, a pattern of complaints has emerged from Australian owners that centers primarily on one area, and that's the 6-speed automatic transmission. Multiple MU-X owners across Australian forums, owner groups, and review platforms have described issues with the transmission, including rough shifting, hesitation during overtaking maneuvers, and in some cases, more serious failures. For a vehicle that many Australians buy specifically for towing caravans, boats, and trailers, a transmission concern is a really serious issue. Towing puts enormous stress on the drivetrain, and if the transmission is already showing weaknesses under normal driving conditions, adding a heavy trailer to the equation is a recipe for expensive problems. Some owners who tow regularly reported that their transmission issues appeared or worsened after towing trips, leading to costly repairs that were sometimes covered under warranty but sometimes not, depending on how the fault was assessed. The other growing complaint from MU-X owners in 2026 relates to the on-road refinement. The MU-X has always been a vehicle that prioritizes practicality and durability over comfort and polish. But as the competitive landscape has shifted, with rivals offering noticeably more refined rides and better technology packages, the MU-X is starting to feel dated in areas that matter to families. Road noise at highway speeds, a relatively basic infotainment experience in lower variants, and seat comfort on long trips are all areas where owners who cross-shopped against alternatives are now questioning whether they made the right call. And when transmission anxiety enters the picture on top of that, the regret starts to feel very real. Now here's something important we want to say to every single person watching this. None of these vehicles are completely bad. Every one of them has genuine strengths. The Bronco is genuinely fun and capable. The Wrangler is an off-road icon for a reason. The LandCruiser 300 series is still one of the best long-term investments in the large SUV segment. And the MU-X has a level of proven durability that many newer rivals haven't yet matched over time. But the gap between expectation and reality is where regret is born. And the job of this channel, the Drive Intel, is to make sure that gap is as small as possible for you before you spend your hard-earned money. So what should you take away from all of this? First, always go deeper than the marketing. Brochures and ads are designed to make you fall in love. Owner forums, real-world reviews, and reliability data are designed to tell you the truth. Use both. Second, consider how you will actually use the vehicle day to day, not how you imagine you will use it on a perfect weekend adventure. Most four-wheel drives spend 90% of their time on sealed roads, and that's the experience you will live with every single day. Third, factor in total cost of ownership. Fuel, servicing, insurance, and potential repair costs can dramatically change the real cost of a vehicle compared to the sticker price. And fourth, if you're buying a newly released model, it often pays to wait at least 12 to 18 months for the early production issues to be identified and resolved. The buyers who benefit most are often not the first ones through the door. Before we wrap up today, we want to hear from you. If you own any of the vehicles we talked about today, or if you've had a regret purchase story of your own, share it in the comments below. Your experience could genuinely help another viewer make a better decision. And if you found this video useful, please share it with a friend or family member who is currently in the market for a 4x4 SUV. You might save them from a very expensive mistake. That's what the Drive Intel community is all about, looking out for each other with honest, real information that actually matters. Hit the like button if this video gave you something to think about, and make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on, because we have more deep dive content coming that you really don't want to miss. We cover real vehicles, real problems, and real solutions. No fluff, no filler, just the truth about the machines we drive. We'll see you in the next one.